Hello there, folks, and welcome to another edition of
This is just in.
First up in the news, Twitter recently experienced a major hack. Reportedly, the hackers gained access to an employee level of the website. This allowed the hackers to gain access to any account on Twitter. Once they gained this access, they began sending out tweets from numerous well-known public figures requesting that their followers send them Bitcoin. But the most interesting revelation from the hack was the images the hackers released showing what employees see when looking at a Twitter account. Here we can see terms like blacklist attached to the accounts. This seemed to confirm suspicions that have existed for years that Twitter has been secretly manipulating trends and topics of conversation to dishonestly control the outcome of public discourse on their website. And in other news, the feud between Ethan Ralph and Joshua Moon of Kiwi Farms is fired up once again. This time with Joshua Moon making the accusation on Kiwi Farms that Ethan Ralph began his relationship with his now ex-wife when she was still an underage teen. Ethan Ralph responded with absolute denial of the accusation.
But I woke up to an allegation from Josh Moon, who owns Kiwi Farms, famous incel there, Josh Moon. And he's repeated something that came from King of Pole. The only reason I bring up King of Pole is because he brought up something that King of Pole put out there about me a couple months ago. I didn't address it because it's just so far from the truth. When I met Nora, my ex-wife, I met her live on air. And it was a much smaller stream than this. It was a stream called The Ralph Retort Live. It aired in late July of 2015. Actually, late July. I don't have the stream now because YouTube completely deleted my channels. But I actually tagged the guy that was the co-host on the stream, Matt, my friend Matt, who used to co-host those shows with me. Nora actually called into that show the first time I ever talked to her. If you've ever heard Nora talk, she's very poised. And she sounds like she's about 35 years old. You know, with the way she talks, not 35, but you're like, okay. When I heard her talk, I was like, okay, 24, 25, whatever. And so on this show, I wish I had this stream. God, you guys don't even know. This is one of the cool. I mean, even though we're divorced now, that's still a cool story. Somebody on Twitter was like, wow, that's kind of a cool story, sweet story. I was like, yeah, it is. Even though we're divorced, that is still a cool story. So on that stream, she comes on. She'd ask me, hey, you know, if you have an opening, can I come on the show sometime? I said, sure. So she's late. First off, she's late. So we were already doing the show like 45 minutes doing the show. And so she comes in. This is the first time I ever heard her talk in my life. We had bantered back and forth. She watched one of my gaming streams. She comes on the show. We start talking. I said, oh, well, how old are you? And then she goes, oh, I'm 18. I'm 18. I can't do her accent though. So this all happened live. Of course, at that time, I had a lot of people who hated me still from GG+. There's like all this rift within Gamergate. I can assure you guys, if I'd started dating a 17-year-old, it would have been over. And it would have been like, I would have caught heat so much.
At least,
so many people.
at least publicly, right, Ralph?
No, that's not true.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Nah, no, but you know what? Even making that joke, honestly, I don't care about the joke, but you know, some people are taking that. No.
And in other news, Nicholas Deorio has had a tough week after being included in the last episode of This Just In for about 3 minutes of coverage. After I covered him rage quitting a live stream when his friend zone incident was brought up, he decided to throw a fit on YouTube with a new angry video. But who was the target of this new video? Was it the girl that put him in the friend zone in front of everyone on Twitter? Was it Tonkasaw for asking Nicholas about the friend zone incident on his live stream, causing him to rage quit? Was it himself for initiating both embarrassing circumstances in the first place? Of course not. So who'd he go after? Well, he went after me for the dubious crime of simply covering the incidents.
Wouldn't it be nice if a narcissist could just be honest? You know, you may say, why do you feel the need to scapegoat? Why do you feel the need to put blame on other individuals? Well, if they were honest, here's what they would say. Now, you're not going to hear this, but here would be the honest answer to that question. And that is, I have an image to uphold. Or it may be that they'll say, I don't know how to introspect. Don't ask me to look inside to my interior. I don't do that. Or there's no way that I can admit flaws. Admitting flaws hurts me too bad.
It's interesting that you're going to make an entire video siding with Tonkasaw.
Sorry to break it to Nicholas, but he was only about 3 minutes of a video that covered multiple topics and was almost 30 minutes long. But you'll notice that fudging the facts to make himself look better is a common tactic from Nicholas. When the truth isn't enough, he'll slip in some little white lies there for assistance, and showing you rage quitting a live stream is far from siding with Tonkasaw. It was objectively funny for anyone that saw the clip.
While you were crying about us not liking you.
I was
But
crying.
do whatever you like, bud.
Tonka, when did the tears come out of my eyes? I was crying.
When did the tears come out of your eyes? Probably when that girl said she wasn't your girlfriend on that post. That was the saddest shit I've ever seen.
What girl said she wasn't my girlfriend?
When you
What
posted
girl?
a picture of you holding somebody's hand, just trying to be vague about it, and then they're like, "You have a girlfriend?" And the girl's like, "No, he's my best friend."
Dude, you have no idea what you're talking about.
That was funny as fuck.
It's hilarious.
No,
It's
that was funny
absolutely
as
hilarious.
fuck. That was funny as fuck. That's funny shit.
Dude, you have literally no idea what you're talking about.
Dude, you have literally no idea what you're talking about. Dude, you have literally no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, so that didn't
I
happen,
keep my
Nick.
personal
Nick,
life-
did that happen or not?
Yeah, it absolutely happened.
Yeah, it absolutely happened. Yeah, it absolutely happened.
Not the way
Okay,
you're
so that
explaining
happened.
it.
You posted a vague picture of you holding somebody's hand, or like fucking some shit, and then they're like, "Do you have a girlfriend?" She's like, "No,
I'm
he's my
dude,
best friend
dude,
and not my
do
girlfriend."
not talk about my fucking personal life on here.
It's not your personal life. It's a tweet you made. It's a
about
tweet
my
you made,
personal
Nick.
life publicly,
Nick, it's a
especially
tweet you
people I'm
made. That's
fucking
not your
talking to.
personal life.
Do not fucking
It's a
bring
tweet
up
you made.
who I
It's not your
talk to
personal
in my
life.
fucking personal
It's a tweet, not your personal life, dork.
Have you put it in a public forum? Is it not public?
How pathetic is that, Nick? You're such
That's
a piece
fucking-
of shit.
Dude,
you
you're
went
so
at
weird. You keep bringing
Steejo
up
about
Augie's
shit.
dad.
What is it?
Yeah,
I'm bringing up
'cause
shit about
Steejo's involved
Augie's
in the
dad.
drama.
Hold on.
Yeah,
What have I brought up about Augie's dad?
Whoa, hold on.
What I
wait.
bring about Augie's dad?
You think it's cool to talk? Like I intentionally don't name people like this specifically because I keep that part of my life very off the internet.
No, you don't. You try
I
to post it and look cool, and you didn't look cool.
I didn't try to post it and look cool.
I didn't try to post it in the cool. I didn't try to post it in the cool.
It was her idea to make the fucking post in the first place. I told her. Not
I'm
to
sure
comment
it
on what
was.
She did. That's none of your fucking business.
Then why'd you post it on Twitter,
It doesn't belong
Nick?
in this argument.
It's
Tonka.
none of
That's
my business.
ridiculous.
Why is it up there, Nick? Why'd you post it if
Dude,
it's none
all
of
you
anybody's
guys have
business?
is looking into people's personal lives, and it's really
How is this
funny.
your personal life, Nick?
Why are you bringing it up
posted
in a fucking debate, Tonka?
Because it's funny, remember? It's about
Yeah,
things that
dude,
are
you
funny.
fucking-
We're
you are
debating?
fucking
We're debating, Nick? Is that what's happening? Oh, did Nick...
So let's give Nicholas more time on this episode of This Just In and dissect his desperate attempt to cope with 3 minutes of coverage by giving his newest meltdown 11 minutes of coverage. If he couldn't handle the first time we talked about him, he's going to absolutely seethe with rage over this time.
Narcissists don't have a real strong inner character. Now, by that I mean they don't have that sense that says, you know, I need to operate from a well-informed position about who I am and how I fit in with other individuals. They're very self-absorbed. They're impressed with themselves, and they must be right the vast preponderance of the time. And so when difficulties come, they go into a different kind of mode. The first thing that a narcissist thinks whenever there's a stress or a strain is, who do I blame? Who's going to take the hit here because of the mistakes that they have? And so they're thinking, if there's a problem inside of our group, who do I pin this on? Who is it that's making me feel miserable?
Well, I get it. Nicholas must have felt like shit after I talked about him in my last This Just In. Not only was he embarrassed from the friend zone incident on Twitter, but then he was laughed off a live stream by Tonkasaw. And then it all got packaged together neatly by me in a fun 3-minute summary. But I think in making his angry video toward me, Nicholas Deorio revealed just how fragile his ego actually is.
Once they have decided, I don't want to have to take responsibility for my share of life's imperfections, then as they look at you, they're looking at you to give you punishment. They believe that you deserve scorn. They believe that you deserve insults, and they're very free with it. They believe you deserve shame and blame and derision.
Now, in this video, Nicholas spent very little time addressing what caused this concentrated rage post in the first place. But he did have this to say about all the people laughing at him.
I think it's really funny how many incels are in this community.
Wow, get a load of that projection.
The narcissist will ascribe to other individuals difficulties and strains that they don't want to have to come to terms with on the inside of themselves. It's very easy to see it in you, just don't talk about it in me.
The full video was over 8 minutes long and consisted mainly of Nicholas reassuring himself that he was doing fantastic and was very popular.
You've been doing this for significantly longer, and I have double your sub count in the 2 years I've been active on the website. It's really pathetic, actually.
Then he reached the maximum level of flex when he felt the need to remind everyone, hey, I'm a big deal. Lindsay Lohan, a washed-up, drugged-out, has-been Hollywood nutcase, follows me on Twitter.
Lindsay Lohan follows me on Twitter. I don't really know where you thought you were going with this. I guess you just assumed I wouldn't be popular, but that was completely false.
Hey everyone, I just want to show you a family that I met. Tell me your story so I can help you.
Wait, is that Nicholas Deorio and Tommy C? Boy, shot from the point really is looking rough these days. Well, at least Tommy finally decided to start taking care of his kids.
Just come with me. Not your husband. Just you and your kids. You should not have them on the floor. You should be a hardworking woman I'm freezing right now. And you should be doing what you do for your children so they have a better life. And if someone's offering them a home and a bed, which is me at this moment, give it to them. And guys, you're going the wrong way. My car's here. And I won't leave until I take you. Give me your hand. Give me your hand. I'm like in shock right now.
Now, when you're dealing with this scapegoating narcissist who must find someone to pin their problems onto, understand you're dealing with someone who has a very childlike approach toward life.
Lindsay Lohan follows me on Twitter. I don't really know where you thought you were going with this. I guess you just assumed I wouldn't be popular, but that was completely false.
Nicholas completely shifted the focus of his video when he went through my entire catalog of uploads looking for some way to destroy Drama 828. Nicholas found a clip of the first time I ever responded to him. That clip was from a few years ago, when I first learned who Nicholas was. I received a message from him on Twitter where he claimed that he was going to destroy me for being featured on Drama Alert by leaking private DMs of me talking shit about Keemstar. Granted, these DMs were from years before I ever began talking to Keem personally. Well, I told him he could go ahead and do it, but I warned him that leaking private DMs isn't the best reputation to have for someone who wants more than anything to be a famous YouTube celebrity. Yes, it's cringe, I know, but that's still Nicholas Deorio's dream, and I stand by the advice I gave to him.
And now you want to leak private conversations that aren't even relevant today. I'm giving you a little bit of advice here. You don't want to do that. If you want to associate and communicate with other YouTubers, people need to feel like they can trust you.
He also showed another totally unrelated video where I told Ethan Ralph he was an alcoholic mess and was going to lose everything to his addiction to booze.
Now, addiction, it starts off with killing your relationships, killing your friendships, destroying your career. But in the end, it finishes up with destroying you.
And in that very clip Deorio features, I literally predict Ethan Ralph's multiple embarrassing pill streams that came out a couple of months later. The mass exodus of his original fan base, his wife divorcing him, his suspension that was almost a permanent ban from D-Live, and his eventual death when his liver finally falls out of his asshole. Now, the most revealing part of Nicholas Deorio's angry response.
I'm gonna give you a little bit of advice first. Don't quit your day job. I grew my channel pretty much organically, and I didn't have to re-upload Medicare streams to do it.
Well, that Medicare video on my channel is there for a reason. That was one of 2 Medicare streams that was about me and the hilarious insane person monograph that I had been roasting with almost 5 hours of combined coverage. And I didn't just take the video and upload it. I talked to Medicare personally and asked if I could include it as the cherry on top of my series on monograph. And he was more than happy to have me include it. And anyone else that talks to Medicare is more than welcome to ask him yourself if I'm lying here. So if Medicare was glad to let me include his coverage of my fun times, why does it bother Nicholas? And why try to represent it as something shameful?
You must be truly desperate.
Now, obviously, Nicholas got his feelings hurt when he saw my coverage of his embarrassing moments. And he felt the need to lash out at someone. But when his response video toward me did more to expose his fragile ego than to make a coherent point, he quickly needed a safe way to cope.
When they scapegoat and when they go into that blame mode, it's their way of saying, I can't handle any kind of personal responsibility here. I've got to find someone to put all of the hurt onto.
Nicholas needed to dump all of his emotional frustration and inner turmoil onto an easy target. So he hit up one of the easiest targets in the history of YouTube, the self-proclaimed cuck and golden shower enthusiast Bunty King. After lashing out at me didn't give him the emotional boost he so desperately needed, Nicholas Deorio, at 1 a.m. on a sleepless night, with tears in his eyes and hate in his heart, attempted to unload his hurt feelings from being on this just in onto someone else by sending a message to Bunty King out of nowhere. But unfortunately for Nicholas Deorio, his emotional dump was thrown back in his face when Bunty King shared the message around with popular douchebag YouTubers that he knew. And the blowback has people all over the internet talking about what a strange and sad boy Nicholas Deorio happens to be.
There's just something so fucking bizarre about being like, hey, you know, I'm gonna make a lot of money trashing this human being. And then just be like, oh yeah, I'm not satisfied with just the amount of money that I'm making. I'm not satisfied with the amount of clout that I have because of it. All I really want is to just let the person know. I want to get in contact with him and be like, hey, just letting you know I'm having a great time as I trash your reputation. I don't care whose reputation it is. It doesn't matter. It's still really creepy. I've dealt with some genuine insane people. I've criticized people who are fucking mental, dude. And not once didn't cross my mind to be like, oh, I should let this person know that I'm having a great time doing this. It's just a weird fucking thing. And you don't think I've talked to Bunty about all the stupid shit he's done? Like, give me a fucking break. It's fine. I don't even have a problem with him milking the subject of Bunty King. He can make videos for the rest of the time, honestly. It's a free country. It's one of the beautiful things about the internet, right? It's a free country. It's a free web. But I do think there's like a level of just like, what would compel you to just do that? I don't know. There's something like really mundane about it that you would almost think like, why would you even go through the effort to type this message out to somebody? That's just my opinion, I guess. I'm not the kind of person to do this sort of thing, so it's just alien to me. But like I said, I don't know who Nick is. I just saw this message and it was just like, what the fuck? This is such a weird message to send to anyone. It's just weird.
Now our next story today comes from the YouTuber known as Chris Raygun. Now Chris tweeted this out yesterday. He says, I've critiqued plenty of people throughout my time on YouTube, but never did it even cross my mind to be this sociopathically petty to the people I've criticized. I don't really know who Nick is, but he sent this to a friend of mine and honestly it's just fucking unhinged. So Chris shows a DM here from a YouTuber known as Nicholas Deorio. So Nicholas Deorio is an up and coming commentary YouTuber and he makes a lot of videos on big YouTubers and other people in the community where he criticizes them and sometimes he'll make jokes about them. And Nick decided to DM one of the people that he made a video on a couple months ago. Okay, so he made a video on this guy a couple months ago and he DM'd him saying, hey man, I know we've had our ups and mostly downs, but I sincerely wanted to thank you. With the money I've made absolutely trashing your reputation, I have been able to purchase a gaming PC capable of playing Cyberpunk on max settings, the way the developers meant for it to be played. Thank you. I'll let you know how it goes. So the YouTuber who Nick is DMing here is known as Bunty King. Okay, Bunty was a well-known YouTuber and Nick made a video on him a couple months ago where he talked trash on him, he criticized him, and what he says smeared his reputation. And because of this, he's claiming he made so much money off of these videos that he has made enough money to buy an expensive gaming PC. And he decided to DM this to the person he made this video on, just pretty much going after them even more. Now the YouTuber Susie Lou responded here saying, hey Team YouTube, how are you getting on demonetizing these drama channels? Maybe we can add Nick's to the long list currently under review. So the YouTuber Susie Lou just popped up out of nowhere here, and she is actually going after Nick, trying to get his channel demonetized. So you have a lot of people on Twitter that were coming out and defending Nick here, saying that this was just a joke and this is how Nick is and that people shouldn't take it too seriously. Now Muda from Someone Or a Gamer responded here saying, I don't really know this whole situation. Bunty King has been good to me in DMs and recently we chatted about futures. He's getting his shit together and I'm proud of him. Best that both sides just go their own ways. I also dislike financial situations used against each other.
It's in the moments of difficulty and strain that you get to see what's really going on inside each individual.
Could it get any worse for Nicholas Deorio? Who would have thought that trying to make people think you have a girlfriend would cause this much fallout? I suggest you cope with self-reflection rather than throwing a public fit. So far, it hasn't been a very good look. But to be honest, I doubt his bruised ego will be able to resist the need to cope once again. I'm sure this just in will have more fun times with Nicholas Deorio in the very near future. Stay tuned. Do you enjoy these videos? Do you want more this just in? Well, help us grow. Tell your uncaring family, tweet it out to your loser friends, think about me while making love to your spouse. How's about a thumbs up? Maybe check out the Patreon and tip your entertainer. The more feedback these videos get, the more videos I'll make. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to spread the word and tell the world about... This is just in.